ICE.
Video of federal agents grabbing the 48-year-old landscaper while he was working in Santa Ana back in June. As he appears wailing and already on the ground, two, three, then four men restrained and punched him. The video went viral and sparked national outrage, especially as the public learned Barranco, though undocumented, is the father of three U.S. Marines. He was held in an ICE processing center for more than 3 weeks before he was fitted with an egg bracelet and released on bond. Ariana Barrios is a City of Orange council member who knows the family.
He had given our country this amazing gift, and yet this is how we treated him.
Even tonight, the feds continue to defend what some say was an overly aggressive takedown, insisting that Uncle swung a weed whacker at agents and tried to run. In a statement today, Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said in part, "We will appeal this lawless ruling. This activist judge's ruling does not change the fact that Narciso Barranco is an illegal alien. Maybe not for long, but Barranco is in the process of applying for a parole in place, a program that protects undocumented parents and military members from deportation as they seek legal status. The question is if he'll get approved before feds appeal. The start of another anxious waiting game."
Anything is possible, right? So we have many members of Congress, both in the Senate and the House, that are, very interested in this case. And so we are requesting expedited processing.
The approval process usually takes about a year for most clients. In this case, of course, they are hoping it happens much sooner. In Studio City, I'm Lori Paris, CBS LA.
Now, the problem I have with what we just heard, before I was able to, get to that part, it says that he was a tax-paying person, tax-paying, an illegal person paying taxes. Here's my question. If you are illegal and you are working and paying taxes, how is that possible if how are you working and paying taxes if you don't have a social security number? How is that done? So somehow these people are being allowed to work. You heard? I wish I listened to the news a couple of times with the intent purpose of getting the whole story. But unfortunately, I didn't get the whole thing. But the announcer says tax paying. No, the lawyer said he was a tax paying person. Though illegal, he was tax paying and working. This man, the aggression that the officers used, I didn't see the whole video. See, they're not showing the whole thing either, of saying, we didn't see the weed whacking part of it. So I'm glad that ICE agents will be now made to wear a body camera so you can see the whole thing. Because what we're seeing to get sympathy is the edited version. Now, granted, I have seen these raids. I've seen, not the raids, I've seen people square off with the ICE agents. And up in their faces, they were throwing pieces of concrete, bricks, rocks, definitely frozen water bottles, and they were screaming at them all up in their face. And I'm looking back and thinking about the civil rights movement. We weren't even doing any of that. We were just marching peacefully and were hosed, beaten, and all this other stuff. Dogs attacking us and all of this. These people, it's a whole new day. And it depends on who you are. Because blacks are still being treated that way. And these people, and most of them, I'm just like, I don't understand it. How do you work in a country and pay taxes if you don't have a social security number? How are you doing this? I just want to know. And he was a gardener for who? What company was hiring him? That they couldn't hire a citizen to do that job. Not everybody is tech. Not everybody wants a tech job. I interviewed this man who does the Kwanzaa parade. He's gorgeous, by the way. He has his own lawn business. Does he hire other black people? I don't know. He might be an independent gardener. If this man was an independent gardener, he wasn't paying any taxes. And then he has 3 sons that were in the military. Oh, and now he's applying for his citizenship. He should have been applying for it a long time ago. But now, since the ICE stuff and the immigration crackdown, now he wants to become a citizen and apply for citizenship under some ruling they have when you have children that are in the military. But at no time until now, he did not bother to become legal. Now he wants to become legal. That's not fair to the rest of us. It really is. It's a shame that these people can, and when you look at who's protesting, it's not there's a lot of illegal people in the country. Let's not be fooled by that. There's many, 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 many illegal people in the country, but they are not out here fighting and up in people's faces and being all confrontational. Most of these people are Hispanic that are up here doing all of this protesting and getting all in your face, and all those who want to be kiss ups to them. Y'all are out here doing the protesting. You don't care about your neighbor down the street that lost their job to one of these people. You don't care nothing about us. You only care about your friend that you go to school with, that you went to school with, and all this and all that. Because you come from generational wealth. So you don't have any feelings for us. I am very passionate about this. I do not like the way Donald Trump is treating people or allowing the ICE agents to just rough people up. But y'all are not seeing the whole story. You're not seeing the whole picture. I can tell you what the picture is. Oh, she's racist. Well, if I'm racist, baby, I'm just have to be that. Because it's a shame. How can these people work and pay taxes? That's what the lady said. He works and pays taxes. He has 3 sons that were in the military. And at no point was he concerned about becoming legal until now. He should go home too. It's like this. This illegal immigration, I'm going to make it real simple. It's like you have a party. You had this nice big party and you had a lot of guests, and now it's time for the guests to go home, and the guests are telling you we're not leaving. And you say, but you got to go home. My party's over now. It's time for you to leave. And they say, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying. That's what this is. That's the way it feels. Like, regardless, you're going to stay and you're going to fight me to stay in my house. You're going to fight me to stay at my party, even though I've said everybody's got to go. My guests that were not invited came too. And I'm saying now it's time for the guests, everybody. I want everybody to go home, wherever that is. So if you refuse to leave my house, then I've got to come up with some other measures to get you out. Now, I think there should be a moratorium, in my opinion. It should be a moratorium. Give people a chance to go. Say, okay, everybody who's illegal in the country, we're going to give you 6 months to get yourself prepared to leave. And if you do it voluntarily, we are going to give you how many thousands of dollars. America's got some money they can be giving, people who are here who are willing to self-deport. They're willing to give them money. You need to give that money to us and just tell them you really got to go. But give them a moratorium. Give them a chance to get their finances together, and their housing and all that. 6 months. Okay, by this date, let's say September 1st. By September 1st, you need to be gone. Otherwise, we're going to start our enforcement. And that gives them time. And if they just want to still fight after that, kick their asses out, rough them up and get them out. But at least give them a chance to go. And I think that would solve a lot of the problem, because they're not being given a chance to go. They're just being, targeted and rounded up. And they're saying we're going after the worst of the worst. Well, I could have done a whole lot of crime back in my country. And I come here and I'm goody two shoes now. I'm a model citizen, but I done cut people's heads off back in my country. But I come over here and I'm working and all this and all that. I've gotten all these benefits, all these favors, and I'm chill. I could have been involved in human trafficking, but I'm good now. Well, so what is the worst of the worst and the best of the best? No, if you're illegal in the country, I don't care what you're doing. You need to go and come back legally, because the world is watching. This is a major power. U.S. is a major country. And if these people with their low IQ, a lot of them are low IQ people with high IQ jobs. I'm going to put it just like it is, because that's what's going on. Because they know they can get a job. All they got to do is belong to a certain gang or have certain connections with the cartels. It doesn't matter. They're able to run this city, and they're probably running the state. But they need to go home. They're the ones out here with the biggest voice fighting to stay. And they don't assimilate. They want us to be called Angelinos. Does that sound like an assimilation? To be called an Angelinan? Because that's really what it is. If you live in the city of Los Angeles or in the county of Los Angeles, you are an Angelinin, not an Angelino. Angelino says Hispanic, says Spanish. No, Hispanic. That's what that says. And I'm not an Angelino. So they're not assimilating, but we want to join their bandwagon. It's crazy. This is all mixed up, and it needs a shakeup. It needs to be turned around. You can't go into a country and demand to stay there. And then there was a meeting in this city called Alhambra. They are mad at the police department because they're saying the police department is not protecting them from ICE. Do you hear the madness in that? The police department is supposed to engage in illegal activity to protect them from the law. It's getting out of control, and the world is watching, because if America allows this behavior to take over, what do you think is going to happen in all these other countries that are having the same problem? They're looking to see what happens here so that they know how to deal with their problem. Migration is inevitable. It's going to happen, but there's ways to do it. And right now, we've got these people who just think that they're supposed to come and bogart their way, and everybody's supposed to be on the bandwagon. It's unfortunate that people are losing their lives behind this. The loss of life is happening, and it's real, all because people refuse to leave. It's just like the guest that won't leave your house, or the tenant that finds every way to stay in your apartment or your dwelling that you're renting to them, and you say it's time to go. And they come up with everything that they can come up with and demand that they stay. Leave. You don't like the country. You don't want to assimilate. You just want to take the services and take the money, and you go back and build beautiful homes in Mexico. I've seen them. You working here, you working all the jobs. You make it so other people can't even get a job. I'll give you an example. Football and baseball, or baseball and basketball. They're two different seasons. So what people do is they run from one job, let's say baseball. They run from baseball to go work at basketball. And then when that season's almost over, they go back to baseball. So they're taking up the jobs where somebody else could be working at the basketball stadium or at the baseball stadium. No, they take up both jobs. So now nobody else can get a job doing it. And they allow it. And they're running back and forth, taking up all the jobs. And these are good paying jobs. I don't know what you all are thinking. I don't know where you're at, because my audience is from everywhere. But this is what's going on. They're taking up all the jobs. So you got the father doing it, and you got the mother doing it. And they have 3 to 5 children per household. So businesses are all about trying to help them stay. But those same businesses should be penalized for doing it, because they are part of the problem. Because consumers, these are big time consumers. You got 3 to 5 children. The grocery stores love you because you got to feed your kids. 3 to 5 children is what's going on. Then I hear Joaquin Jeffries the other night. The common man, the common person. Who the hell is he to call somebody common? I wish I could meet him, because I would have a few words to ask him. Who's common? What does that mean? What does common look like? He sounds like some aristocrat. Oh, those are commoners. So like we're what? Common means what? Uneducated? Is that what that means? Common means no manners? What does common really mean? Does common mean working class? Well, everybody's a working class of some type. You got a blue collar, you got a white collar, you got a no collar, you got naked. So which is it? I wanted to reach through the TV and say, excuse me, sir, what is common? Are you common? Because he's trying to, I wanted to be in politics, but there were reasons why I didn't get into it when I was younger. And now at this point, I'm free of it. So I can talk and say anything I want, which is great, but I just don't come out my mouth with stupid stuff. People will try to label me as whatever, but I'm 71 and I really don't care. I try, but I think about how people think, how they process. And it's like, you're not even listening. You hear a little bit and you just go off on a tangent. You don't even bother to really listen. And from what you hear, think. You're not thinking. You're just following the crowd. But this immigration thing is dangerous. People are being crushed financially. I'm one of those that was crushed financially. I lost my job behind Mexican racism in the workplace. If I could read to you the reasons I was first suspended, You would say this is not real. And it's a union job. I hate unions, especially Unite Here Local 11 in particular. I hate you. And when I say hate, I do. I loathe you. I wish you nothing but the worst because I'm out of employment and I've used up all my money basically. So I'm pretty pissed. And the judges, you're full of shit. Period. And the lawyer, I'm giving his name, Lonnie Gamila of Fisher and Phillips, you are a bastard. And your mother's a bastard for having you. And I hope somebody gets this back to him. Send it to him. Let him know how I feel. Lied his ass off. And the judge lied too. He had some Mexican magistrate judge. And there was a process. Process was I was supposed to help pick a magistrate. I would have never picked a Mexican bitch who doesn't even know the law. I know more law than she does. She made up a ruling and applied it to me. Just as bogus as hell. And then think I'm going to sit there and just take it. Really? I'm smarter than that. She's a low IQ. She's a low IQ Mexican magistrate bitch. I'm not low IQ. At this point, I would make a damn good lawyer, and I know it. I'm just lazy. That's what I am. But this immigration thing, I don't get it. So I need somebody to explain it to me. Why would people want to fight tooth and nail to stay in a country illegally and get support from everybody for it? Oh, you know why? Because maybe Becky and Nancy and Traquina and Teresa might have to wash their own damn panties. They might have to clean their own damn house. And they might have to cut their own damn grass. You see, because they can sit back and pretend to be rich at the expense of these people. Now, if they're running their own little business, yeah, they're cutting corners. They're not paying them, what they should be getting paid if they went through somebody who was legal. But if somebody who was having their own business, they would still negotiate a deal. There are a lot of people who want those jobs, cutting grass and things like that. But these lazy ass people, before they would do that, they'll ask Hernando, you got a friend? Lazy. I was in a debate with another content creator not too long ago on my Facebook page. We're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But he's a business owner and he hires Mexican Hispanics in particular. That's what I'm talking about. Not all Hispanic people and not all Latino people fall into this category. These are Mexican Hispanics in particular. I'm being very clear about that. And if somebody wants to change it up, well, you go ahead and change it up. I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Mexican Hispanics that live close to the border. That's who I'm talking about. Those people that just walk across and they feel so privileged when they get here because they already got a job waiting for them. See, y'all don't hear all this. Y'all go off on a tangent on some bullshit. This has affected me personally. So I have a personal argument. I got a personal fight with this. And it's got to stop. Go home. You don't like the country in the first place. You think everybody wants to eat tacos. I am one of those. I had 2 tacos. I went on a trip recently. I had 2 tacos. And I live amongst all this crap and won't eat one. I'll eat Spanish food from Spain. I'll eat Colombian food, Salvadorian food, you name it, Brazilian food, all of that. I'll eat all of that. But I will not eat Mexican food. I will not eat it. I pass it up. I won't eat a burrito. I don't eat tacos. None of that. And it's a shame. I shouldn't feel this way. But the racist behavior, if you ask them what they say, oh, we're brown people, you're telling them brown people lie. Because the first time you can say that you're white, you check that box. That's the box you check. You think you're white. Except when it comes to needing something, all of a sudden now you're brown. You don't act brown. What does brown act like? I don't know, because black folks come in different shades of brown. From chocolate brown to light brown. So I don't know where you fit in at. You use the system. Oh, California wants to give a 1 cent raise in taxes, 1 cent, because of the health care money not coming from the federal government. You know what Gavin Newsom said? Go back and look on YouTube, because I'm sure on Facebook you're not going to find it, where he talked about, and brazen too, about giving health care to illegal people. So that's why they want to do the 1 cent increase, so they can make sure they have enough in the pot to pay them for their medical. They can go back to Mexico and get it. But that's what the deal really is. And don't let him become your president, because then they can flip. It's going to be like Biden all over again. They're going to be coming through because they need people to wash their clothes and clean their houses for them and all this. And they do use these people too, especially the new ones. They use them, and I'm talking about their people use them too. For instance, at the beach, recycling is big money. Big money. A person could make, depends on how you do it, you can make about $2,000 a month recycling at the beach. But they don't know. A lot of them are new, they don't know. So somebody's controlling them and telling them, well, this is your area, and they got to give them money. They don't even know that they can just do it for free and don't have to pay anybody. So they're new, they don't know, and they're being used by their own people. And then you got everybody else using them too. And because they don't assimilate, they don't know. They don't know they're being ripped off. They're just told what to do and they go along with it, and they don't make no waves. They don't ask no questions. They just do what they're told, not asked to do, what they're told to do. There's a difference. And they just say, yes, boss, and do it until they get hit. Now, once they get hit, all of them get together, and I like that about them. They all get together and do a class action lawsuit. And now you got to pay them all that back money, and they're going to get penalized, so you got to pay that too. So they don't stay stupid for long. They stay stupid long enough to learn the system. And then you got to give all that money back. The money you thought you were going to get away with, that you didn't have to pay, now you got to pay it. Or they say that you sexually assaulted them. Your word against theirs. And what you going to do? You're going to cough up some money if you got a name. It's best not to have a name. But this is what's going on. And then we have the Democrats. I don't have to vote Democratic because I'm black. And I don't have to vote Republican because I'm black. We need to get rid of both parties, in my opinion. Neither one is worth shit. Neither one is willing to look out for you or do anything for you. They're both full of shit. Donald Trump is full of shit. He's trying to get his money while he can too. He's all deep in there. Find some shit on him that's real. But this immigration thing, I just don't get it. Why would I want to fight tooth and nail to stay in a country that I don't like? I don't want to be a part of it. I just want to do what? Get the benefits and leave, right? So look, all of you who've been here illegally, I don't care where you're from. If your number is up and they catch you, go. Don't fight them. Don't fight them to stay here and put your lives at risk, put your family's lives at risk. For what? You scared to go home? You're sending money home. You're going home. You built nice homes. What is the problem? Go home. How are you working and not paying taxes? How are you doing that without a social security number? How are you doing it? I listed on Facebook the immigration laws of Mexico, since that's where most of these people are from. Their laws are strict, very strict. So why should we be any less than them? Their laws are very strict. We need strict laws. And just some people are like, well, immigrants built this country. You're right. At first, I didn't quite get it. I was a little pissed about that. I saw when the confrontations really got serious. I was downtown that weekend, and there was a Caucasian girl, and she had this little wimpy Mexican boy with her, and this little cute black girl with long braids, with the little curly braids, curly hair mixed in. She was real cute. And they're walking, and this girl's walking with a sign, "Immigrants built this country." And I walked up to her. I said, "No, immigrants did not build this country. You got that wrong. Slaves built this country. Your people came, these people, whoever you're representing, came later." And I was just amazed that her black friend did not check her. The little wimpy boy, let's get away from her. I really felt like saying, you need to take your punk ass home somewhere and sit down and learn something. You little arrogant bastard. I can be rude, and right now I'm being terribly rude, and I apologize for that. But I've just about had enough of it. It's like really? So I had to think about that. I should have come to her a different way. I should have said, you're right. And it's true. Immigrants did build this country. They were illegal immigrants, 100%. We weren't illegal. We were undocumented. Undocumented immigrants did build this country. We came over, our ancestors came over in slave ships. Those were your first non-documented immigrants. That's who. The first non-documented immigrants were ancestors from Africa. That's the truth. There's no documentation of them. They're counted as cattle or livestock. How are you going to count a person as livestock? You can't be sleeping good at night doing that. But they were counted as livestock. So they were non-documented immigrants. So the first non-documented immigrants are black or slaves from other places, because predominantly they were black. But I'm almost certain in the migration of people, there was some Mongolians in the mix. I'm almost certain of that. So we were the first non-documented immigrants to this country. And so she was right. She said immigrants, though. No, non-documented immigrants built this country. And they were predominantly black slaves. That's the truth. But this immigration issue, everybody's watching to see how America deals with it. So then that kind of gives them the idea of what to do in their own countries. And it's not a pretty picture. Everywhere, and you can check this out. You don't have to listen just what I'm saying. I'm just bringing it to the table. If you look at who is coming in and flooding these sanctuary cities, predominantly who's doing it is Mexicans. Those are the ones who are predominantly taking over. Charlotte, as far as I know, what I was told, they're taking over there, trying to have them little taco stands all over the damn place. Chicago, another place. Well, we already know lost the whole California. I kept telling my coworkers, don't ever leave the state of California because you will have a rude awakening. They think everybody's going to open the doors and let them through. They're so rude, they will stand in front of you and look, and you say something to them, they're looking at you like, were you telling me to move? You know, you have to tap them on the shoulder. Excuse me. What do you want? I was in front of you. That's what I want. And you can have all your family come up and get in front of me. I'm just going to step in front of you and y'all can all be together. And you can argue with the next person. Because I'm not letting 5 people get in front of me because you all know each other. We ain't doing that. That tacky kind of stuff. So other people are like, well, if they can do it, so can we. Now, these people are being all confrontational with people with guns, getting all up in their faces. See, you're not seeing the whole thing. So I'm glad they are now saying they have to wear body cameras because police have to wear them. They can wear them too. So you can see the whole story, not part of it. Because a lot of the protesters naturally are not showing you the whole thing about how the person was up in the cops, and they're still cops to me, was all up in the cop's face, yelling and screaming and acting like a pure damn fool. Now, there was a lady that was shot in the stomach. She put herself out there. She didn't even care about her baby. Most women are not going to do that. I'm pregnant. I'm trying to protect my baby. I'm not going to put myself out there like that. Most women are not going to do that. She did that because she wanted to garner sympathy. That's what that was about. What you doing impeding what are you doing in the middle of a raid? You putting yourself out there at risk. And then going to justify it. And then they get mad at the police. Well, the police are not protecting us. The police are not supposed to protect you when you are doing illegal things. If they do, then they are participating in the lawlessness. And that's not their job. They cannot commit crimes, and that is a crime. You all up in these people's faces. You're not at a distance. What are you doing? They have what they call these people who are documenting what's going on. They're not news people. They don't work for no news outlet where they have some kind of protections. Even news people, as we're finding out, don't have the protections they used to have or think they have. You can't go in churches and be part of a mob and then say that you were covering it when you clearly were involved in it. But these people, like, what is the distance? Because I never heard that. How far away do you have to be? I haven't heard that. But there should be some kind of distance. You need to be at least 20, 30 feet away. But no, these people like what? 10 feet? That's nothing. You basically right there in it. Where in this country can you do this behavior? Because if they can get away with doing it, damn it, we can too. If you can be all bossy and bold and be all up in somebody's face, screaming, throwing rocks, concrete, frozen water bottles, and all of this, then damn it, we can too. We are legally here. We should be able to do it too. And I mean that. We should be able to take to the streets and act a fool just like they're doing. We should be able to take these jobs that pay good money. Look, I'm not trying to be, a lot of people don't want stress jobs. Tech jobs are stress jobs. All these jobs are stress jobs, and they paying the same money. Why should I go through all of that stress, right, when I can get a job as pushing a broom and make $25 an hour? Hey, give me a broom, I'll push the broom. Hell with it. Because in my off time, I got a whole lot of other good stuff going. And I don't want to be stressed out. I don't want to be burnt out. So this is cool. I was working as a bartender at a bar that was growing. Some days, the tips weren't that great, but it was building. It was a new bar and it was building. And some days the tips would be great. I was like, hey, we can build this. They got jealous of me. They wanted what I had, which was nothing, except I know how to mix this together and add it to the drink, and it tastes really good. One, I'm thinking about making it into a drink for sale. It's really tasty. It's good with or without alcohol, and it's really great over ice. It's delicious. So I would come in and do little special things, to make the drink pretty, cut up fruit. We all cut up fruit, but me and another guy, we really did go that extra mile. They allowed this one bitch, and I'm giving her a name, Laura Ortiz. Anybody know her? Let her hear it. Miss Piggy. And when I say Miss Piggy, if you saw her, you say, yup, I see the resemblance. And she acted like Miss Piggy. She would find little bullshit because she's a low IQ thinking person. Oh, every time something happened, they told us to stay away from each other. I was cool with it. I was like, good, I don't have to talk to her. I'm all right with it. No, that wasn't good enough. Next thing I know, I'm getting written up for stuff. Just racist shit. Stay away from each other. I'm away washing bar equipment. She comes to where I was to instigate an argument. Then I'm written up for it. It was my fault. This was the union person saying this, along with the HR person, whose name is Janelle Morgan, at Dodger Stadium, the house that Jackie Robinson built. But see, Mrs. Robinson doesn't know that the black people at Dodger Stadium are mistreated. She doesn't know that. They're busy talking about this is the house that Jackie Robinson built. But they don't know how the black people and anybody other than Hispanics are treated. They don't even know how some of Hispanics who are not Mexican are treated. Terribly. Mexicans have an elitist attitude. And the closer to the border, the closer the problem. Now, the ones like Central Mexico, Southern Mexico, They are cool as all get out. Nice, welcoming, and all of that. But the northern Mexico people, not so much. Not so much at all. They're the ones who are taking up the resources and don't want to be legal, don't want to be, and are fighting tooth and nail to stay here and not be legal. If you are in the country illegally, you can be deported. It has happened in my family. My daughter's dad was deported back to Canada. He snuck back in one time, and I'm just amazed at how he did that. He came to see his grandson when he was little, when he was an infant. He snuck in to see his grandson and snuck back out and took his ass back home. But he was deported. It happens. It tears families apart. It does. Because he would have loved to have lived here, but he couldn't. And that's okay. But it does happen. Families do get separated. It happens. But it's part of the deal. You be undercover. You're not going to be out there and be confrontational. One thing I can say about everybody else is they low key. Low key. But the Mexican Hispanics want to be all up in your face because they have the most to lose. You got 3 to 5 kids that you've been raising in the family. You ain't paid shit for them. You're getting all the services. They're going to school. They're not even legal citizens, and they're in the classrooms, taking up all the space in the class. Business loves them because they're big consumers. They always buying. So yeah, you love them. That's who's really fighting for them to stay. That's who's giving they can get cards, Visa cards to help pay bills because of the ICE raids. How come I can't get one? They're getting rent paid with Visa cards because companies are putting up private funds, according to Mayor Karen Bass, are putting up private funds to give these people Visa cards so that they can stay. The predominant amount of people who are getting those cards are Mexican Hispanics, not Salvadorians, not Nicaraguans, not Colombians, not Costa Ricans, not Brazilians, not. Okay? These are Mexican Hispanics in particular getting these funds to remain in the country illegally. That's what's going on. How do they get jobs and pay taxes? So if you're paying taxes, that means you're getting a refund. You're paying taxes, you're getting a refund. How are you getting a refund? Because in some cases, you're working under somebody else's social security number. That's how you're doing it in some cases. They're not checking anything. Let me tell you, it's so corrupt. A baby gets a social security number. A parent can work under that social security number. Nobody's checking. To say, wait a minute, this baby's working 40 hours a week. Nobody's checking it because they work for the Social Security office. They're in all these offices, these customer service jobs that require shuffling of paperwork, all of that. They're in there. They're changing the numbers and all that other stuff. It's so corrupt, it's funny. And nobody's checking it. And they know that. So they do all kinds of stuff. It needs an overhaul, okay? It really does. But I don't understand it. Why are people going to all these lengths, having all these town meetings, asking for the police to protect them from ICE when they're illegal? How do you do that? How do you get the police to protect you when you are participating in illegal activity? I'm just lost. I really am. I really, really am. I'm just confused. It's like the guest that doesn't want to leave. That's why I said about the guest. The guest that doesn't want to leave even though you've asked them to go. That's how I see this. Go home. Pack your stuff up. Give a moratorium. Trump, stop this, crackdown. This is like, it's horrible to see people, all on the ground being cuffed and you got 3 or 4 people laying on top of you. This isn't football, but they're not showing the whole story, is what I'm saying. They're not showing how these people agitate and entice ICE to act out like they do. Because in the beginning, they weren't acting out like that. They were allowing these people to get all up in their faces, yelling at them, screaming, throwing stuff at them, and they maintained their stance. They did not break. And I was amazed because I was like, there's no way I could do this. Because I already know the person who threw a water bottle at me, I was going to do a takedown immediately. And the way, those little wooden barricades, that was all that was separating the agents, the immigration enforcement agents, and the public. That's all that was separating them. And those people were right up on that barricade, yelling and screaming at them and throwing stuff. And I was right there filming it. And I had to realize, wait a minute. I'm not with a news outlet. I'm just doing this for social media so that y'all can see what's going on. I better step back. I had to, step back. And then I see somebody with a sign. A couple of people had them. America is fascist. I really, it's like, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because if this was a fascist country, your ass would not be out here doing this. You'd be already locked up. And they've just recently, I think in the last month, started arresting people at these protests once it's over, once the peaceful people leave. Like the lady who got shot in the stomach. She was one of those that should have left when the protest was technically over. She didn't. She was one of those who wanted to stay and instigate and wound up getting shot in the stomach with a rubber bullet. She shouldn't have been out there. Where does the protection of your child take over from your militant behavior? That shouldn't have happened. The nurse, the unfortunate death of the nurse in Minnesota. He had come out there days before, you see, and had a confrontation. And then on that particular day, what was he doing? Was he taking a gun and ammo to work and just happened to be at the protest for a minute? I mean, is the hospital letting him come to work with a loaded gun or with a gun and ammunition? What kind of hospital is that? He had a gun and ammunition on him that day. Why were you going to work with a gun and ammunition? That's what I want to know. And the lady who unfortunately lost her life. Why are you going to get in the middle of some ICE agents with guns with your car? What are you doing all up in the mix like that? And had a child at school. I'm telling you, as a parent, I was a single mom. Sometimes, and I'll never get a chance to tell my daughter this, I will never get the chance to tell her that she saved my life. She did. because she was at the forefront of my thinking. That's how she saved me. She was at the forefront of my thinking. I was like, I can't do that because I have a child and she's depending on me. Had that not happened, I probably would not be talking right now. But she saved me from myself. And I'll never forget that. But these parents, the lady who was unfortunately lost her life over, I'm not even sure she understood what she was really doing. Because the protest, the as Joaquin Jeffries refers to us, the common person, probably a lot of common people have lost their jobs behind this immigration hiring. This non-documented, however you want to say it. You're not legal to be here, but you got a job because you're in a sanctuary city or sanctuary state that's going to kiss up to you and give you work. And forget all about us. When I listened to Joaquin talk, he wasn't talking about us, the working person. Let's say we're all working, but at the lower end of the spectrum. That's who I'm talking about. He's not caring about us. He's caring about people who are big consumers. That's what it really is about. We water it down. That's what they really care about. Oh, these people spend a lot of money. I learned this from a third generation restaurateur. He said, my people like to work, shop, and eat. His family owned 3 generations of owning a Mexican restaurant. Work, shop, and eat. They will claim now, black people out here do give black people other places a bad reputation because the Hispanic people are only seeing, because they're not leaving the state, they don't know that maybe back east, southeast, people work just as hard as they do. No difference. But because they're not exposed to anybody outside of themselves, they're thinking, oh, all black people are lazy. They don't want to work. The ones out here don't, because they come from generational wealth. And they're not strong enough to say to their families, I don't care if I am from generational wealth, I want to make my own money. Or if they get a job, it's through nepotism at the higher level. So they've got great city jobs, administrative type jobs. They've got all of that. They've got their degrees, and they beg all these, there needs to be a crackdown on who can get grants. Because I know a lot of artists that will not produce one piece of art unless they're getting a grant to do it. I'm sorry, I'm an artist, period. I don't even try to get grants. I am meant to be what I am. I am an artist. I've been an artist all my life. It doesn't have anything to do with a grant. Oh, if I'm not getting a grant, I'm not doing anything. Well, that wouldn't be me. But that's how most of them are. I don't envy them because they come from generational wealth. But we all don't. And that's the impression, is that we all come from generational wealth, is the way we're thought of out here. So the idea of wanting a bartending job, what? You want to be a bartender? That's because they're ignorant to what a bartender actually makes, or the potential of what a bartender can make. And now that there's no tax on tips, oh, what? Too bad I'm not in the game anymore. Take Me Out to the Ball Game was, I love that song. because I wasn't going in for the salary. I was going in for the tips. But you get a salary too. And now that there's no tax on tips, let me tell you, when I first arrived here, this white boy told me, we were doing background, and he was just sitting talking about what he does. He says, I'm a bartender when I'm not doing background. I said, really? He says, I own 2 apartment buildings. I was like, you own 2 apartment buildings from doing background? He said, no, from being a bartender. So if there's no tax on tips, can you just imagine the money that's being made? It's incredible. So that's what I'm talking about. These are good paying jobs. They're not bullshit jobs. They pay very good money. So how you think somebody's feeling when an illegal person, and I'm going to call you illegal because that's what you are. You're not following the law. I'm not saying you're a criminal like, killing somebody or dealing drugs or trafficking and all that. But you are illegal in the country. You're not documented to be here. So how are you paying taxes? But now you don't have to worry about that. But I feel some kind of way about it. These guys see people at construction sites. Count how many people that look like you if you're not Hispanic. Count how many people that look like you are coming out of that gate at the end of the day or going in the morning. Probably 0. Now, Los Angeles started out with black folks building it. Now, it's all Mexicans building the city and the county and the state. It's like you can't even apply for one of those jobs. And that's a shame. Everybody who's participating in it should be held accountable. And since we're talking about the word accountability, yeah, they should be coming out and saying, yeah, I do that, and give a reason why. Because me and this other content creator, we were going at it for a minute. Because what I posted was a picture of a man naked walking through the street. I was like, oh my God, I got one good shot. And I said, because of ICE, and it's true, because of ICE, there's less of this on the street. There's less drugs on the street. People are forced to clean up because they can't get the drugs like they were getting it before. They still can get it. But now if it's in-house, let's say, it's easier to track it down. So it's less of it. He's going to write and say, oh, this is nothing but rhetoric. Really? And he's one of those isolated ivory tower people. They're not affected by this because who's working their company? Their company would fall apart if they didn't have these workers working there. So he went back and forth with me on it. Oh, this is still rhetoric. This is blah, 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 blah. So I asked him, so how many black people work for your company? All of a sudden, there was a breeze. He had nothing to say. I haven't heard from him since. But yeah, I wanted to ask, so how many black people work for your company? Because I already know the answer. The answer is 0. It's so bad. You know, you would go to a Chinese restaurant and you knew everybody in the restaurant was Chinese, the waiters, the cashier, all of that, everybody. You go in the kitchen, it's Mexicans working in the kitchen. Even the Chinese cooks can't get a job. That's how bad it is. Everybody's using them instead of their own people. That's why I tell them, don't leave the state because you're going to be in for a rude awakening. You can't just walk in and show up and think, oh, they're good workers. The average person in the Southeast are good workers too. I kept telling them, y'all ain't that special. We work 2 jobs. Black folks work 2 and 3 jobs. Y'all just used to the California people out here that don't want to work at all. The rest of us do, and we're coming. We're going to be coming because we like the weather too. And these construction jobs pay very well, even if you're pushing a broom. And if you want to be a hotel maid near the airport, it's $23 an hour. And in 2 years, it's going up to $33 an hour just to make a bed. And they're also going to be introducing their maid robots. I think they're $35,000 a piece. Now, already know they get ready to save some money. But the union, knowing that they had the power, it was like, no, you're going to pay us what we want or we won't work. So they caved in. And that's how they do it. They all get together. No, we're not going to work. And what are you going to do? Your business is going to suffer. So you're going to pay them what they want while you work on an alternative. We don't need them to pick any fruit. Stop that one. Who's going to pick our strawberries? You can load up a C-40 plane from any of these war-torn countries, especially like Ukraine and parts of Iran and all these places. You're going to tell me those people wouldn't want to come over here and do that? But give them the pathway to citizenship as part of the package. They would be over here waiting in the fields for the first strawberry to show up. Trust me. So we don't need these people to do a damn thing. Go home would be a great thing. Because right now you're clogging up the system with bullshit, fighting to be in a country that's saying go home and come back legally. You don't want to go home and come back legally. You want to force yourself on the American public to take you the way you are, and you're saying hell with it. Or now all of a sudden you want to go and claim citizenship. You should have did that years ago, buddy. When your sons were in the military, that was the time to do that. Or before they even got to that point. Why didn't you try that early on? Now you want to do it because there's a crackdown. I'm glad I'm not in the judicial system. Even though I know some about it, there's still more I can learn. But I have the basics. It's good thing I'm not the judge. Because here's how I would say it. Sir, I appreciate the fact that you have 3 sons that have served this country. I appreciate that. Beyond that, though, when they were little, when they were first born, or anything beyond them joining the military, I don't have any record of you ever trying to become a citizen. I only have a record of you trying to become an attempt to become an American citizen now that there's immigration crackdown. That does not apply. You had plenty of opportunity. You've had years to become legal, and you never took those avenues until now. So that's kind of unfortunate. You waited till after the fact to now try to become legal. And because of that, I'm going to have to deny it. That's all. He will pack up his stuff along with his family stuff, because they already have a house back in Mexico. And they'll just go back home. That's all. It's not that difficult. It really isn't that difficult. So I'm just confused about the whole thing. I'm very confused. And if somebody's got a way to explain this to me, how they could be in the country illegally and demand to be here in spite of that. I just really like for somebody out here somewhere to just give me a logical, not just any explanation. Don't give me no low IQ explanation. Give me an intelligent answer. I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I want to say I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for having an opinion. You know, at least you're not dead. You can think. You do have thoughts. You have feelings. And you have something to say. Share it with me. Until next time, love you all and take care. Bye bye.